Today we are going to talk about living in a Ghanaian society. But before we start, what do we need to know about Ghana?
Ghana, situated in West Africa just above the equator, the Greenwich Meridian passes through its main industrial city, Tema. Ghana is the first sub-Saharan country to attain independence from British colony on the 6th of March 1957, with a population of about 20 million and diverse ethnic groups. English is the official language spoken. The main local languages are Twi, Fanti, Ewe, Ga and Dagbani. Ghana practices parliamentary democracy. The country is divided into 10 administrative regions: Upper West, Upper East, Northern, Brongahafo, Volta, Western, Ashanti, Eastern, Central, and Greater Accra. Basically an agricultural country, main exports are gold, cocoa, timber, bauxite, diamonds, and horticultural products such as handicraft, processed fruits, and manufactured goods. The currency of the country is the cedi, with flexible exchange rate. People on the whole are very friendly and they have an excellent sense of humor. Most of the time, their approach will be just out of sheer curiosity. Most Ghanaians are also quite honest in their dealings with money. So, no need to go around thinking all the time that they are trying to trick you, as this is usually not the case.
What brought you to Ghana?
I'm in Ghana as a volunteer for Orphanage Africa.
When I first came to Ghana, it was as a volunteer. So obviously Orphanage Africa has always been run along the lines of respect for volunteer work. And I think it's very important that the volunteers see themselves as links in a chain. That is that you yourself, you may not necessarily have the impression of accomplishing something, but you need to know that before you and after you, there'll be other volunteers, and all together over the years you will make a huge difference. I mean, we have figures that prove that orphanages with volunteers are happier, are healthier, that the kids have a higher literacy level, that they have more self-esteem. So never underestimate the role of the volunteer. Even if it feels as if you're only washing baby clothes, you need to know that what you're doing is really helping. Thank you.
There are various different positions for the volunteers at the different orphanages. Most often those jobs will consist of taking care of the babies, caring for the special children, and doing their special exercises with them so that they can improve their motor control.
Some volunteers have brought disposable Pampers with them or spent a lot of money in Ghana buying them. And they're not good for the baby's skin in the heat. A lot of the babies get heat rash and diaper rash fairly easily. And there's a lot better ways that volunteers could use their resources to help the kids other than disposable napkins.
Managing the library, if there is a library, and organizing children's activities for the older children when they come home from school and on the weekends.
One of the main areas that you might be working in Orphanage Africa now is the schools, and there are 4 classes. You might be working in any of those classes, assisting the teachers with their daily lessons. You'll generally be planning some lessons and assisting the teacher in other lessons, and you can find local resources to plan your lessons here, so don't worry about bringing resources from home, but it might be worth just sort of picking up a few books on ideas that you could use for general lesson planning for basic English and maths.
Now, it's very important that you help the mamas. You should not be doing their jobs for them, but rather assisting them. And it's a great help to do that, because they're often there 24 hours a day sleeping at the orphanage. So the volunteers are a great relief to the overworked mamas at the orphanage.
By the way, what is Orphanage Africa?
Orphanage Africa is an NGO that dedicates itself to working with children.
Orphanage Africa, otherwise known as OA, is a non-governmental charity organization. We work in Ghana in lots of different ways to make the lives of orphans and vulnerable children better. The way that we started out was to help already existing orphanages in Ghana. So we help them through programs either developing infrastructure or agriculture or health. We put nurses in the orphanages, we give them food support, different things along those lines. But one of our priorities is to keep families together, to avoid institutional care and keep children out of orphanages and with their grandparents, their uncles, their aunts, whoever can take care of them in the community if their parents die. In order to do this, we've devised a number of approaches. We have an educational program that takes care of children's school fees, and we have advocacy teams that teach people about HIV/AIDS and thus hopefully stops more children being abandoned. And perhaps most importantly, we have several programs in the community to help women have healthier pregnancies and perhaps not die in childbirth. So it's all about orphan prevention and abandonment prevention. So Orphanage Africa is not just about institutions, but also about making alternatives to institutional care viable.
Cultural differences, as usual, represent a big challenge, especially when you have to live in a society different from yours.
It's been strange and good in many ways. Strange because everything is so different than it is at home. Starting from the climate to the people, the customs, everything, but you need to let go of that and embrace what you have here, and you'll have a wonderful time and learn many things about here, about the people, and mostly about yourself.
In order to cope with this society, what are some of the things you need to know?
Listen everything and open your eyes, and I don't know, forget all the things you're carrying from Europe or the other parts.
Okay.
I didn't realize that it was such a big deal to give and receive things with your right hand and eating with your right hand, and I found it difficult.
Okay. What about you?
I think the first thing is to try and forget a part of your own culture, to leave it at the airport before you reach the other country, so that you are ready to accept the other culture.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, we have a big man here. I think you have a whole lot of things to say.
Well, I think the most important thing is to be willing to make mistakes. I mean, we don't know everything there is about the people. We have a lot of prejudices in Western society. People think Africa is just one big country, and we believe the people are a certain way. But when you come to Ghana, you realize that people are friendly. You can ask them questions. When you don't know something, the kids are amazing.
Thank you very much. God bless you for that.
I think that as a volunteer, before coming to Ghana, I really felt that I had a lot to teach and a lot to give and a lot of love to give. And when coming into contact with the children, I realized that they have a lot to teach me and a lot of love to give me. And I think you develop a special relationship with the children. And this being my third time in Ghana, I know how difficult it is to leave, so I think it's important to keep that in mind.
Certainly in terms of girls, bring all of your your menstrual and sanitation, because that's something that you might find difficult to get hold of once you're out here, but also things like anything that you don't need water for, so baby wipes, face wipes, also to wash your hands, like alcohol, water-free gel, that kind of thing, anything to sort of keep yourself clean. Don't rely on a water supply being there.
When packing for Ghana, it's really important to remember to bring specific types of clothing. In Ghana, the dress is modest, so you should have skirts which go below your knee and shirts that don't show your stomach. The clothes should be breathable, made of cotton and non-synthetic materials, because the weather can be very hot. It's also very important to bring pants, light pants, and long sleeve shirts, because at dusk and at dawn all of the mosquitoes come out, so you want to cover your arms and your legs and put on lots of mosquito repellent. You're going to also want to bring a bathing suit and a towel for your stay in Ghana.
Other things that might be useful for females anyway is that you'll get a lot of attention from men, so just slipping your ring over to your wedding finger sometimes when you're out in public actually helps. Like, men tend to respect that and just sort of lay off a bit. But other than that, just give as much time as you can. You're here for the kids, and I mean, they're waiting for you, so just enjoy it.
Bring a mosquito net and some mosquito repellent, because you might really need it. Books, if you're staying long, it's really useful. Shower shoes, that can also be useful. And if you're coming like for more than 2 weeks, try to change your money at the airport and get like change to 200 euros. It's great.